Welcome to StruxDraft, structural CAD that checks your designs as you draw it. If you've ever drawn a framing plan in one program, retyped every member into a calculator in another, and then redrawn the results back onto your sheets, StruxDraft collapses all that into one. You draw the structure on your plans, and StruxDraft sizes the members, traces the loads, and builds the calculation package for you. So let's get started. This is our welcome screen. We're gonna start with a new project, so hit new project, and we're gonna load in our architectural PDFs. We'll click File, Open PDF, and I have some sample plans I've prepared. So we have our thumbnail view for our PDFs on the left. We can cycle through pages. We can go into each sheet and we can assign some sheet settings. So this is our foundation. It's at 0 feet. Let's set our datum. This tells all the sheets where everything is, so we'll place it right here. We'll go into our first plan, our framing plan. I'm going to set this to 10 feet. We'll also set our datum, that same corner. Okay. Do the same with this. This is going to be our roof framing plan. We're also going to set our datum. Okay, so now all our sheets are aligned. They're all labeled. Let's begin. So with this, I'd start with overlaying my roof sheet to know exactly where my edges of my roof are. Let's go overlay sheet. Let's choose sheet 5. Okay, it's all lined up pretty good. We'll pin this in place. Let's start with drawing some beams. So we're going to use this as our main bearing wall. And then we're going to have a beam at this end and this end. We're going to need some columns here. Actually, we know we're going to need a beam from here to here, and there's a frame, a door header here. So let's start with this. So I'm going to turn auto columns on. Hold shift and it'll do an orthogonal drawing. Or we can just turn that on automatically with the ortho button down here. Let's turn off auto columns. Let's place a beam from here to here. And if we drop this beam here, it should auto connect and link the loads automatically. Let's add a column here. Okay. We'll do the same thing down here. We've got another window opening. Let's turn our columns back on. Okay, let's add another column there. Alright, let's put our bearing wall in here. Alright, now we can draw our joist region, our rafters. Let's rotate these 90 degrees. Let's use our T-Connect tool to make these connections. Let's check if we got some auto connections here. No, so use our T-Connect. This beam is our support. And then we're going to connect joist region 1, joist region 2. Connect. Let's connect these to this wall. Connect. And let's do the same for this beam. Connect. We can right click on these rafters and apply some load. So let's just apply roof 1. Apply roof 1. Okay, so now those loads should be showing. Okay, we've got some severe deflection. Switch this up to, 4x12. That looks number 1. Okay, that passes. So we can see that roof 1 load 20 PSF dead, 50.2 PSF snow. Okay, let's do our exterior walls. We don't need to do everything here, but we can just put in a wall over here. Put some beams with some auto columns. Okay. Do T-connect again. Oh, I forgot to change our bearing. So right now this blue line is indicating that this is our bearing line. We right click on this and edit reactions. We can drag this reaction over this wall line, hit enter. Now we can see that that cantilever is accounted for. Now we can do our T-connect, wall. Okay. Let's go down to our next sheet. Oh, we do the editor reactions over here. Enter. Let's turn our overlay off. It looks good. Now we can look at this in 3D to verify, everything's good and connected. So we'll open up Strux 4D. We only have one plan with elements so far, but you can click here, show your load path. So you can see these joists are going to this wall and this beam, and then the midspan walls and beams. You can close out of this. We'll just set up our walls over here. Okay, let's go to our first floor framing plan. And we can overlay our elements. Well, let's overlay that upper level sheet. So we can see we have this deck that needs to be framed here, and the column is going to come down onto this deck beam. And then we're going to have this bearing wall that needs to go on a beam. And then we can actually overlay elements. So let's overlay our walls, our columns. We don't need to see the joists from above or the beams. Let's show overlay. This is a cool feature. So now we know exactly what we need to support. Again, we can use the auto columns to beam. Whoops. Let me do that again. I forgot to pin it. So we click this move button and now switch to pinned. That shouldn't happen again. Use our T-connect tool again. Make sure that both this wall and this column are bearing on this beam. So beam 7's our supporting element. We want wall 1 and C6 to bear down on this beam. Connect. And then we also want these columns to bear on this beam. Let's T-connect. Beam 6, column 4, good. Do that one more time. Beam 6, column 5, good. We can open this up. We can see that's the column load. This is the wall load from above. Likewise, we can open this so we see the 3-point loads from the beam and the 2 columns. Good. So we see that we get this wall load over this header. So let's go and add a beam here, the auto columns. We'll connect that up. Connect. So we do have a column that's over this header. Let's add this beam. These are all on the wall, so that's fine. Let's just add a wall here. And then we'll also add a column. This is, and we'll connect those so the load's transferred all the way down. Column 16, that's column 3. Okay. Let's add our floor framing here. So just like we did on that above plan. And take both of those 90. Let's apply our floor residential. And these loads are established in our load database. They're preset with ASC 7 loads, and you can add some custom loads. And then if you update these, say you're using the wrong snow load, or all your floors change, the finishes on them change, or for whatever reason, you can just come in here, edit these loads. So let's change this to 45. And then that should cascade for all the elements. Let's hit recalc. Okay. Let's keep going. We gotta do this deck framing. And let's do a beam. Some columns. Okay. Let's do our garage roof as well. So let's set up our beam. We'll do our garage header here. And do that, we don't want our columns, so remove the auto columns. And we'll just go ahead and add our joists. Okay, let's apply our roof load. Let's see if those loads connected. I'm gonna use our T-Connect tool. Joist 6, joist 7, connect. Let's add a wall over here to make sure it's getting all the loads tracked down to the foundation. We got a door there, so let's add a beam. Now let's add our wall. This program can be used however you want. If you don't want to track all your wall loads manually, you can just apply those loads to the foundation. But this gives you a way that you don't have to calculate all your heaviest load areas. You can just connect all of your framing members into it, and all those loads will follow all the way through to the foundation. So we've got joist region 4 on the left and joist region 7 on the right. We'll connect that. We'll do the same for this. So beam 13, joist region 4, joist region 7, connect. Okay, we might as well do the wall on this side. Okay, let's go back to 3D view, check this out. Oh, we didn't put any walls on that side. That's important. We need to connect that wall to this beam. You can have this in a separate window and then hit the synchronize button. So as you're working in your 2D space, you can use this to double check all your loads. We need wall 2. We also have command palette, so if you just type wall, your wall tool will come up. And if you like a cleaner look, you can change from engineering mode to draft mode. It gets rid of some stuff. But stay in engineer mode. I need to edit this reaction. Okay, we're all set. Use T-Connect. just want to connect my walls. Okay. Turn that off. Let's go back to our 3D view. Okay, so you can see all the loads from the roof are making its way down this bearing wall. These joists are now going to the beam and stuff. Now we can go to our foundation plan. Let's overlay our sheet from above first. Open that. So now we know we have this deck. We can show elements too. Let's do walls and columns. Okay. Go back to our beam. We don't need a column on one side. It's going to be bearing on the foundation. Set our columns in that corner. Let's connect the beam from these two columns. Okay. Now let's add our joists. Alright, let's apply our deck load. Let's use our T-Connect tool. Okay, let's add our foundation walls. Now we connect all these loads to the foundation wall. Foundation wall is the supporting member. We want beam 14, beam 15. We want joist region 8, C14, C15. Yeah, we want all these, so let's connect. We also need a beam all the way from this wall. That's the foundation wall. Let's go. Oh, forgot the pin. We're gonna pin that. Okay. We need a column on this end. We need our floor framing. Okay, let's apply our floor load. Residential floor. Okay, we need to connect this wall and this column to this beam and the joist. Beam 7s are supporting element. So we need wall 3 from above, joist region 9, joist region 10. Okay, let's connect. We also need a beam from here. Is that a column? We're gonna need to connect that column from above to that column below. So C27 to C11. Okay. We also have a wall. It's between these columns, so okay. Let's draw the rest of our foundation walls. We can use our T-connect to make the rest of our connections. I'm connecting our joists here. Just our 2 columns in this beam. This one we are going to get our joists. So these columns and this joist should be some walls. Let's turn this off. Let's check on our above sheet. Oh, we didn't have any walls. That's fine. Go back to our 3D view. So we've got a lot of our structure built here. So you can see that all these loads make it from the roof all the way down to the foundation for different elements. Now we can add our continuous footings. And if you don't want to see everything during this phase, you can type in layers. And you can turn off joists, beams, walls, columns, spot footings. You can just hit hide all and then turn just your walls on. That'll make this connection easier. So now we're just going to draw our continuous footings. Let's go back into layers. I forgot I needed continuous footings on. Okay. So now we can do the same T-connect method. So these had already connected. We already got our foundation walls. We don't need to do that. Alright, let's go back to layers. I just want to see our columns and our walls here. Okay. So we know we need some spot footings. We need some continuous footings. Let's go back to our 3D view. So you can see those loads all the way from the roof are making its way to this spot footing. These continuous footings. Let's turn everything back on. So we can go to our schedule over here and we can look at elements just from this sheet. We can collapse them, open them, but let's look at all our elements from all the projects. So if you want to quickly design and use the same type of joists or beams, so I'm going to go to these most stressed elements. We're going to open it up. Let's change this to 12 inches on center. Look for number 1. 2x12 still failing. Now we can go by 4x12s. We can go by 4x10s. No. Okay. And then say I want to apply this to all of the joists in the plan. I hit apply. Apply all. So now it's just going to go joist region 1, A, B, C, and so on. And hit recalc. And now, okay, all my elements are passing. And one of the cool things in this program is now you can make your schedule. You go to schedules, let's go to our beam schedule. It'll show us all of our beams. And then when we go and edit these, they'll all change. So let's click on beam 17, our properties panel. We can change that to, I don't know, maybe an 8x12 will work. There's quite a bit of load on there. And it's still failing. We might need, we can change this to steel. So if you just double click on the member, you can change it to steel. Let's go to a 12 by 22. Recalculate. Okay, well that's passing. You can just go through your schedule, update all your designs, all these columns, most of them will be just 2 or 3 2x6s. But as you can see, beam 17 here, we changed it to a W12 by 40. It's updated in our schedule. If you go to your analysis, calc report, that's okay.